like, I think we've all, I mean, I'm sure you guys have, everybody watching this or listening to it has heard of or experienced themselves, you know, I hired this dude or this girl to do this thing, and man, they just didn't do it, right? Like, it is so on them that this didn't happen, and it's put me in such a bad position. And I'm like, wait. That is totally your fault, right? Like, we have to fully take ownership of that. If at any point I realize in communication with one of our contractors, and we have from, you know, less than part-time to completely dedicated, right? Again, that's freedom for me. I don't have an office, I don't want one, right? So if I send out a task to them and they can't complete it within the time frame that I asked them to, that's on me. I didn't understand it clearly enough and what went into it. I didn't explain it in a way that prompted them to see what was down the track. So if we see any sort of task creep, right, we all understand what scope creep is, but task creep, that's 100% on us. So we either don't have A players that want to work within timelines, that's also on us, right? Or we didn't explain it. So like, my whole thing with the mentorship program, if having a successful agency was all about tactics, we would all win, right? We have supercomputers in our pockets, for goodness sake, right? If it was only tactics based, you could probably look it on YouTube or find it somewhere on some message board, right? But it isn't. It comes down to strategy, mental understanding and mindset, and communication. The biggest myth is that we're actually communicating, right? So what we have to do is, like, if clients say something to us or students say something, you're just like, well, what I'm hearing is this. And it gives them a chance to say yes or no. And even if they say, no, that's not what I'm saying, what I love, prospects or clients or students or whatever, is they're like, oh my gosh, somebody's actually listening to me. And they're just like, no, what I mean is this. And it makes more of an excited thing. They're not down on you that you didn't understand it. If we could all just do that, life would be so much easier.
It's exactly that. Take ownership, you know?
Massively, right? So like, and this is not to say that I don't get backed into a corner sometimes, right? But what I do is I take accountability for it, and I do not rush my contractors ever, because I know that we have hired A players and we have worked together for years. The issue is between me and the client, right? So if I'm backed against the wall and I have to eat crow, because sometimes we have to do that, I'm going to take accountability to the client directly and say, that's on me. They're moving as quickly as they can, and I know that, right? Like, there is no question that is being produced in the fastest way possible now that we have clarity, right? It's not so much that problems don't happen, it's knowing what to do when they do.